Welcome to my Mixed Media Nest by Doris Charest. We're going to use papers that we created in my Mixed Media Masterclass and create this wonderful nest. See how many papers we created? All kinds of papers that are just wonderful. Mark making, staining with tea, pouring paint, frottage, stamping, all kinds of papers that we created. Now the next step for us will be to cut those up. There's so many papers, I could probably make 10 nest paintings with these. I'm just going eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and then I finally decided and cut up a few. Now, the first step is creating a background, and in my longer course, you can see how that is done. Then adding the egg shapes, and then collaging around it. So I cut up these papers that I had, and I'm just adhering them to the canvas surface. We have gel that adheres to that. We have gel to glue them down. Remember to put gel under and gel over. Make sure that all the surface is covered with gel or it will not stick. And I'm just adding a lot of these and creating a nest-like look. You can cut your papers the way you like it. You can choose the colors you want. It does not matter. They look great whatever you do. So this is a great way to start a nest. The idea is to have the papers look random. When birds create nests, they look very random. So change the angle at every time. Change direction, make some short ones, some long ones. Really variety it up if that's something if you can say that. Create a lot of variety. That's the best part. And just keep adding. Don't be afraid to go over the edge sometimes with the papers. You don't have to make it like a big lump in the middle. You can create papers that are longer, shorter, some go over the edge, some do not. Think about your composition. As you can see, the gel stays semi-opaque, but once it dries, it'll dry clear. Here it's dried clear. I'm adding a bit of spattering on the eggs. Most eggs are textured that way, and a little bit of paint. Remember, if you're going to use a color once, you use it more times in the other parts of the painting. You don't want to have bright red, for example, just in one spot. You want to have other spots with the same color. The same applies to the black I'm using. I want to add it in different areas. Add a bit of white as well, a bit of gray, and just make sure that it is in different areas. The light needs to be coming from somewhere. Pick a spot where the light is coming from. Remember to add other textures other than the papers. Here I'm spattering, I'm adding paint, and the paint isn't really nice and tidy and pretty. I'm making it look messy, and when I add more papers on top, it'll look great. It'll look natural. It looks very interesting. So now I'm adding a different kind of paper. It's a paper that we learn to make in my mixed media class, Mixed Media for Beginners. And these are tissue papers that can be made in whatever color you like, and then you add them. And they're a little more transparent. They're also more colorful, and it adds a lot of variety to your nest. We've added quite a few tissue papers now, and it's starting to look interesting. Remember, that's the goal of your painting, to have it look interesting. Here's a close-up of the egg. I'm not leaving the eggs that purple gray color. I'm going to lighten them up and see how the spots show through. That makes it even more interesting. It's a great way to create those eggs. You could spatter again if you wanted to. And now I'm adding more papers. To see how this is done in greater detail, you need to take my class on making a nest, the longer version of it. And then I show you every single step that I do. Here you're getting a very shortened version. Now that I've added more paint, different kinds of tissue papers, I'm back to adding the papers that I started in the beginning. Notice how it's starting to look very much nest-like and more random. I decided that the light would be coming from the top, so I've lightened the areas at the top and darkened some of the areas at the bottom. That's like a nest. The next step is adding more textures. So we're adding stamps. We cover this, how to make stamps and how to use stamps, in my mixed media class, and you can check that out. And now we're just going to darken the bottom where the eggs create shadows and add a few more textures. Here I'm adding highlights. The light is hitting the top of the egg and creating a lighter area. Notice how we still see the spatters, and that's great. In a realistic nest, in a real nest, the shape is not like a bowl. It's more like a bowl that curves in, and we want to create that look. So we're adding even more papers to create that curved shape like a real nest. Very easy, very fast. This painting can be created in a matter of 3-4 evenings. It's actually better not to do it all in one shot. Allow things to dry and then just keep adding to it. So enjoy. Have fun creating this nest. If you want more information about each step, take my course with the nest. So this is Mixed Media Nest by Doris Charest. We'll see you in the next video.